lead from.
I'll take. You lead, I'll follow.
And a very old friend of mine from 30 years ago.
When we were 4.
Yes, exactly.
We were 4
When we
at
were
the
4.
time.
We were at sixth form college when we were 4.
You
didn't get away with that one.
Ruined the illusion.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the All Things Good channel and to a new video. I hope you're all doing really well this week. Thank you for joining me. It is lovely to see you as always. Well, this week's video is going to be a little bit different. As some of you will know, this year has been a very significant year for me, and it's got me thinking about how sometimes life can go full circle, especially when you least expect it. Now, some of you will know that this year I have been reacquainted with Paul, aka the Invisible Chef, after 30 years. We originally met at college and we were reacquainted at the start of this year, and we are back together. Well, there are other people from that college that I met that I have remained in contact with over the past 30 years who have gone on to have amazing careers. One of my friends being the wonderful TV presenter Alison Hammond, for example. But there was someone else I went to college with who has now carved out for himself a really great radio career. He's now one of the Midlands' top premier DJs, none other than Mr. Matt Dudley. So I asked Matt to come over for a coffee and a chat and a good old reminisce, and you are going to hear all about it. There are some fabulous stories of what we got up to then and how it shapes us now. And we get to talk about some of the amazing people we know and who we've met, and you'll also get to find out how on earth it is that I know people like David Tennant. Interesting. So grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee, sit down, relax, and enjoy this week's video. Let's get into it.
So here I am interviewing this week the one and only Black Country Radio's Matt Dudley. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. And Matt and I have known one another for over 30 years because Matt and I went to sixth form college together. There's a lot of stories coming out of that college this year, a lot of stories coming out of that college. And Matt and I have actually kept in touch and met up quite a few times over the past 30 years, but we've been pretty rubbish the last couple of years.
Yeah, families, stuff, work.
All
life.
Those kind of things get in the way, but I've managed to track him down. I've grabbed him into the kitchen. We have coffee, of course.
And the fee was right.
Shh. So welcome Matt Dudley to my kitchen for this little coffee and chat.
And
How the devil are you?
I mean, well, it's a very nice kitchen.
Oh, thank you very much.
Because obviously I'm used to talking in a studio. And not very often I get interviewed. This is one of maybe a handful of times. I know.
Role reversal.
It is a bit weird to be interviewed. So this is nice though, because we've got coffee and...
This is nice, and it's a friendly chat as well.
Well, you've got pretend mocha.
Well, I don't know whether you'll be able to, you can't really see it, it's very dark, isn't it? Pretend mocha. Yeah, Matt just went, what the devil have you just put in that coffee? Calorie-free mocha drops that I put in my coffee, which are from myprotein.com, by the way. So if you're interested, they're very, very good, and there's no calories in, but Matt's just gone for the box standard coffee.
I've just gone for coffee every time.
So,
Don't ruin your coffee. And I can't have coffee either if it's cold, and I definitely never do iced coffee.
Really?
Oh,
No, see, I love an iced coffee.
No, coffee's supposed to be hot.
Well,
There's no ice involved in my coffee.
if it's a very hot day, I do like an iced coffee.
No, what I tend to... Here's a little trick for you. I mean, we'll call it a life hack. If it's hot, you're like this. If it's hot, I have water.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They sell it in shops and everything. It's brilliant.
Well,
They do.
actually, it comes out of my tap.
Oh, well, you're very upper class,
Very
aren't
posh
you?
here, aren't we? Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, we
you can see the silliness. This is how we... In fact, our paths crossed way before college in a weird kind of way, because I was a radio presenter at Sandwell Hospital Radio when I did a year. I didn't do a year. I did an hours-long programme every Wednesday called A Year to Remember.
I forgot about that.
And you were there as well.
I was.
But I don't think we really... I think actually you knew my sister at that point because she worked at the hospital.
I vividly remember you being at the radio. I can't remember how long I was there. That was a long time ago.
Oh,
I don't know, but either way, it was a very long time ago, and we've all grown up or not since then. So, but yeah, that's where my radio stuff started there. But back in the day, those people who know sort of Midlands local radio, I've forgotten his name.
Ed Doolan.
Ed Doolan.
I
I was going to Ed Sheeran.
Yes, I worked for Ed Sheeran.
What happened to him? No, Ed Doolan was I think he was the president of the radio, and I then went and did some stuff with him at WM, and everyone kind of we both obviously they like talent, didn't they? But that's what happens. You end up meeting someone who then takes you into a different direction, and I carried on in radio where you went and had #1 hit singles.
It wasn't number. It was 101.
It was #1. She's being modest.
It was 101.
What was the name of the band again?
Well, I think some of my viewers already know this because they've already seen.
For those that don't,
OK Venus.
Honestly, YouTube it, because the video's incredible. And the song isn't half bad. And I think nowadays you could actually get away with it.
Really?
I think so.
It's
back
more
then
in vogue
you couldn't.
now.
Yeah, it's retro now. Back in the day, it's a good dance track.
It's very dancey.
Very dancey.
I probably wouldn't be able to dance to it any longer.
Oh no, I couldn't dance to it even then. But I vividly remember that you had some degree of success with that, and you should be very proud.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Well, I'm very proud. But you know what? It was coming back to college that I actually think, and correct me if I'm wrong, and it did, I think it actually, that particular college, which was in Birmingham, it's not there anymore.
It's been bulldozed now.
Been bulldozed, sadly.
Nothing
On
to
the
do with us.
Hagley Road in Birmingham, actually produced, I think, quite a lot of talent. A lot of talented people, a lot of creative people, and there's been a lot of success stories come out of that college.
I didn't particularly like school, not really. And I went to a boys' school, and I had a girls' school across the field. So that was
Which boys' school did you go
Lordswood.
to? Okay.
Yeah, still there. Although they did bulldoze that and then rebuilt it. Again,
Still nothing to do
nothing
with
to do with me at all. I was bullied at school, and I didn't enjoy the structure, and I was more practical. I wasn't good with my hands, like craft work and stuff like that.
Right.
A great 80s band. I was more into performance-led stuff like that. And in fact, going back to radio, I started a radio station at Lordswood Boys' School. Wow, that's just come back to my mind. I say radio, it was us in a cupboard with a record player and a microphone and a very long lead. I couldn't tell you now why I chose St Philip's, other than the fact that I wanted to do performing arts, which I did. And that might have been the only college or the nearest college that did it, maybe, I don't know. So I did it there, and that's kind of how I did a year at my sixth form at my school, and then did 2 years on and off at St Philip's. And I did performing arts, did theology, something else, I can't remember what it was. Obviously made a massive difference in my life. But I enjoyed it. Because people called me by our first names.
Yes, they did.
They were respectful. There was a I don't know, like a
good ethos.
Yeah,
as well
absolutely.
About the college, wasn't there? I found
it was lovely, and it was a Catholic college, and I think that kind of lent itself to being very calm and respectful. There was nuns running around everywhere, and you know, I'm not sure what they were doing, or wearing the same thing every day. A bit of a habit about them. Sorry. So I just imagine
everything's medium.
Yeah, I imagined that college life was going to be brilliant. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was brilliant, but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I had a really good friendship group, and you. And it kind of, I think it probably shaped my later teenage years.
Been interviewed by the principal. What was his name? Guy or Mr. Guy? Was it Guy something?
Did he have a beard?
He had a beard. Actually, just so happens. Here's one I had earlier.
Yeah. These are brilliant, by the way.
I found
still
the
got
yearbooks, one from 1992
fantastic.
and one from 1993. So I'm sure.
I don't think I'm in the latter. That's him. I told you.
John Guy was our principal.
He was a very good-looking chap.
He was a very good-looking chap. I was interviewed by John Guy. You actually had to be interviewed to be able to get into the college. This was like unknown to me.
I don't remember that. I don't remember being interviewed.
I had to be interviewed. I was interviewed by John Guy, the then principal, and I didn't live anywhere near the college. I lived in an area that was like 15 miles away.
Yeah, Walsall way.
And the college was Birmingham. So I was racking my brains as to why did I pick that college, and it was because it was the closest place where I could do a performing arts course. Yeah. And I can honestly say, from the first day I walked in there, I loved it. And like you, instantly great set of friends.
Yeah.
And you. And
touche.
And it all just clicked and it all just worked. And that was the first time I'd had real friends, and it was the first time I was doing something I enjoyed, performing arts, music. I did English literature as well. And media studies, did a couple of extra GCSEs that I didn't do very well in at school. Popped those marks back up, and it has definitely shaped a lot of things in my life going forward. I mean, now I've obviously got, you've got grown-up children, and you're a granddad.
I'm a granddad as well. I wasn't back then.
Thank goodness.
I know.
Thank
I mean,
goodness.
weird.
Really,
I mean, you're a product of that, because 30 years on, we're still having contact.
Yes.
And I think it's odd, isn't it? I don't, because I'm not in contact with all the people I was friends with at college. Certain people kind of stand out, don't they?
Yeah, they do, absolutely. And obviously we've kept in touch over the years. There's been a couple of gaps for one reason or another, and life, children.
Life getting in the way.
We don't live in the same area or those kind of things, but we have always brought it back round, and then we've met up. And of course, we also do have our mutual friend from college who has become incredibly successful as a television presenter in this country, and that is, of course, Alison Hammond. So we've obviously got together with Alison all together, 3 of us. You've are good friends with her, I'm good friends with her. And that really is someone that stands out from our year group that did obviously incredibly well in their chosen genre and the way they wanted to go in life. And again, is that, a product of the teaching and the confidence boost that we were getting from the teachers there?
I think it could be. I think it's also circumstantial as well. You're being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
That's a circumstance, I think, when you happen to be in the right place at the right time, and if you are driven by a vision that you are going to do this. I remember we were doing something, you were there, it might even been you that said this, but there was a conversation about who was going to become the famous one out of our group, and everyone, or you or others, were saying it was going to be me, and there was conversations about Blue Peter and all this kind of thing going on.
But do you remember the Blue Peter documentary I did that I had to do for media studies?
No,
I've got it on the old VHS tape somewhere. I'm going to have to get that converted. And
you'll have to get me a copy of that, because
sorry to interrupt.
No, that's
Peter
brilliant.
Moment, yeah.
But it's that kind of thing that at the time I vividly remember everyone saying it'd be Matt and Matt. But I then went off to do. I did radio, I did lots of performance on stage, I did musical theatre, both professionally and amateur, and I kind of fumbled my way through. At the same time as I then had 2 children by the time I was 24, 25, and a single dad at that point to an extent. So I have to find my way through. And so suddenly the visions of me becoming this super Hollywood famous person and having that success started dwindling.
Yes.
At the same time as people like Alison's career was going from nothing to wow.
Yes.
And you kind of I look at her career, and I'm nothing but proud of what she's achieved.
Absolutely.
She's done that because she's brilliant to what she does. She's got that personality, and it's helped to get to where she is.
I think
nobody else has done that for her.
No, and I think looking back, actually, just talking about Alison in particular, looking back at my time with her at college, she was, to me, always going to do it because she had that drive, but she also just had this natural personality. We'd walk into performing arts. Alison wouldn't walk into performing arts. She'd cartwheel to performing arts.
You knew she was in the room.
You knew she was in the room. And certain people like that, I think, when they stand out, particularly at a very young age, I think there's always that possibility that they're going to achieve, and in her case she did exactly what she wanted to do. A bit like yourself, I had the visions of I was going to be a great actress or I was going to be a pop star, and again I did musical theatre both professionally and not professional, and loved every second of it, and it was always that glorified hobby for me that if I could just take it another level, I might actually be able to do it. I might get somewhere. But it was just always sitting at that glorified hobby level.
I think the caveat to that is also that Alison had Aidan, 18 years ago. So she's carved her career out as a single mom. So, if anything, she's made that happen. She's a beacon to single parents all over the world, that you can carve out this amazing career and still be a very grounded mom as well. And I never lost sight of that. And Aidan's a wonderful lad, and she's made that work for her. I think for me, I only have those regrets now, looking back, not regrets about having kids, but regrets that I could have pushed it harder. I could have done more to have seen my career go in a different direction. I mean, money gets in the way. It's mainly money, because if you can't, I mean, let's be honest, you've got to be incredibly lucky to make any money out of that business.
Absolutely.
So when you're just plodding along, you're going to auditions. I can't think of the word. Auditions, and then when you get a role, you're then in rehearsals for a time. Suddenly, you have to be extremely selfish.
Oh, incredibly.
Rely upon family a lot, and do that, and then that does work for a little bit, and then it eases off, and because you haven't pushed the audition agenda too much, it then sails you by, and then you're picked to the post by someone who lives in London. I lied, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, I lied, saying when they said, "Do you live in London?" Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah, and I had a friend who lived in North London. It's got a name.
Let's call it North London.
Let's call it North London.
Yeah.
And it will come to me in a minute. But he lived there, and I actually used his place as a base when I was rehearsing for Wuthering Heights, so in UK tour. So I used his base. But I used to say, when people were asking more information to get me the audition, they said, "Oh, they say things like, 'Oh, whereabouts in London do you live?'" Now, at that point, I hadn't said I lived in London. They assumed. I then didn't put them right, and so I said, "Oh, yeah." In the hope they go, "Okay, well, fine. Can you come tomorrow at 4?" I would then jump in the car, and I'd be there in a couple of hours. I'd make it work. And when looking back now, well, it's a stupid thing to do, but it was the only way I could see anyone taking me seriously. My hope was, get me to the door. I'll show you what I can do.
Getting through the door is the big bit.
Exactly. And if you can't, where do you live? "Oh, I live in the Midlands." "Oh, it's a no from us, thank you."
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I mean, with Alison, she's remained living in Birmingham, still managed to maintain a career out of that.
In fact, she's remarkable, let's face it.
She's remarkable.
Quite remarkable.
Yes. And she's amazing at what she does. And I think, no one else can do what she does better than she does what she does, because that's what she does.
Carved out this perfect.
Yeah, there was a mould that needed an Alison Hammond, and she happened to be Alison Hammond.
Interestingly, that's brought me on to a question about, I suppose, confidence.
Yeah.
And being scared or not scared. And this is probably going to be a completely different answer from me than it would be from you, because even in college days, I saw you as the larger than life, bubbly, funny.
Where's
confident.
that photo? There's a photo. There's a photo. You keep talking. I'm going to find this photo, which works with what you're
saying.
Funny,
friendly, outspoken.
Well dressed, if I remember rightly.
We'll come back to that when you find that picture.
Yeah, it's here somewhere.
To me, I was always really admired how confident you were, and because obviously we were doing performing arts, you're full of, a group full of lovies, basically. We were all lovies, and very theatrical. But I always had a bit of a shy side, which was fine when it came to performance, because I was a character, and because I was being a different person, I could do anything. But if I was just talking to someone as me, as Polly, I was always a bit more shy, whereas you never were. You were always Matt Dudley, the confident one. But one of the things that I think held me back with auditions and things like that was a confidence thing. And also, I did have a spell of being in London for 6 months just after college, when I was in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Of course.
And you completely forgot about that, didn't you? And
I had to,
we'll come back to that in a second.
Yes.
I had to stay in London because I was in the show every day. So
you were Rubbish Joseph, if I remember right.
Was I Rubbish Joseph?
Rubbish Joseph.
Good job I didn't do that for very long, isn't it? It's annoying cloth, isn't it, that put you off?
Yeah. No, that actually helped.
Never Joseph.
Were you not?
No, never.
Wow.
I wasn't. But I had to live in a little bed sitting thing for 6 months on my own. I was so lonely.
Was there like a version of Polly on the stage which was very bold, confident, and there was a version of Polly off stage which was shy and retiring? because I guess in some ways that's probably okay to be like that, because if you
I think now looking back, I got it wrong.
yourself.
Yeah, I think it's okay, and I think that's a good way to be, because actually, does that make you a better actor anyway? Because you can portray all these characters completely, whatever they might be, and however extreme, confident or shy, or whatever they might be, and yet go home and be totally.
See, I did a panto earlier this year. The second time I've done it with this company, and the first time last year I was very much part of the scene, that on stage and then off stage, so it was going out for drinks and meals and mingling, and on the groups and going, oh yeah, I certainly like that, and I was part of it, and I felt part of it. It was like an extended family, and it was enjoyable. The following year, so it was early on this year, it was a totally different experience.
Really?
Yeah, so very much like you've just said, I sat in the back of the dressing room and observed what was going on. There was a celebrity there who I found very obnoxious and quite rude and arrogant. Okay. But those people that were also in that dressing room, who were mainly younger than him and younger than me, because it was Peter Pan, so there was a lot of younger people involved, sort of looked up to this person because he was a celeb,
right,
and hung off everything he said. Well, I think I could tell it was fake, and I wasn't. It wasn't for me. So I kept myself out of the way, and I didn't get involved in the extended activities, and I didn't enjoy that process. But when I was on stage, it was brilliant, and I came alive, and I enjoy. Someone said to me a long time ago, I was doing Acorn Antics, the musical, in Birmingham. Still one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It was incredible. Yeah. And someone said to me backstage, in the wings, before we came on, and they said, oh, I'm so nervous. Do you get nervous? And I went, no.
Really?
I didn't. I got anxious that it was going to be right, and I'd remember my lines, but I was never nervous.
You were more excited about the whole...
Absolutely, I couldn't wait to get onto the stage.
I used to be like that.
And even since then, I now host shows, and introduce people. I love that. I love the limelight. I guess I like the attention. I think it's not wrong to say that. I like people looking at me, and I'm the reason they've laughed or clapped, and I like that. That's a nice feeling, because you don't necessarily get that in normal life, do you?
No.
You don't answer the phone and go, hello, and you go, oh, that was brilliant the way you said hello. That's fantastic. Made me laugh. That. So you have. It's an extension. I think you need that affirmation that what you've done is good.
Yeah. And that's what most actors thrive on anyway.
I think so.
And it's really.
And so for some people, it's an addiction, of course. Whereas I enjoyed the moment of doing it. A different panto this year. It's more of an adult one.
Which panto are you in this year?
Well, I'll tell you, actually, Polly, since you've mentioned it. Oh, yes, I will. It's called Beauty and the Beast 3. Count them. I was in the second one earlier this year. It's an adult panto, so sorry, nobody under the age of 25.
I can't go.
You can't go. I'm not even supposed to be in it. It is very funny. It's very funny. It's going to be in Stourport this year, and it's very cleverly written by a friend of mine, Paul Smith.
Not the Paul Smith.
It's the Paul Smith.
Really?
Yeah. I'm assuming we're not talking about the fashion designer.
Perfumes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm going to go with him.
Go with him. Let's go with him.
So it's so well written. It's so funny. Last year I was kind of an additional part that he put in there because he wanted me to be in it. This year I'm very much the main thing without giving anything away.
Brilliant, love it.
And it's just genius. We had our first read through on Thursday, and it was we came out with our faces hurting. It's just absolutely fantastic.
I'm
great
to that, by the way.
You have to come and see that. It's Twixmas.
Twixmas?
Yeah, it's the bit after Christmas and between Christmas and New Year.
The bit you've got to have something to do.
You've got something to
do
now.
Get your tickets now. Where can we get tickets?
You can get tickets. Thank you. If you go, actually, I don't know. You can get them if you go to find the Beauty Town Criers on Facebook.
Beauty Town Criers. Okay.
There is another website. I think it might be ct.co.uk. Okay. Regardless of that.
But if you find out any more information, I can link it in the description box down below.
Yes, I will give you the link, and you can click on it later. So it's that to me just it wets my whistle as much as I love doing panto because it's so stupid. It's very organised and very structured and very. You have to know your lines. You can't just go and say anything you like.
But funny things will always inevitably happen
Funny
where
things
there's an
will
ad lib
happen.
as well.
But the beauty of it is it's just very funny.
Yes.
Anyway, and so to be part of something like that where everybody is on the same level, there's no egotistical actors who think it's all about them, darling. Although my character thinks that.
Yeah, love it.
Everybody, in fact, there's only really me, I think, and also the writer who's the Dame, who have actually ever trained as a performer.
Wow.
Everybody else are just normal, everyday people.
Oh, I love that.
And you'd never know.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's wonderful.
Anybody and everybody can get involved.
Feel free. It's
Love
crazy, it's nonsensical, it's just fantastic.
Well, when we get on more information, I will tell you more about
Yes.
that as well, because then you can get tickets and you can come too.
I-
Maybe
I-
you could come on the night I come and we could all go together
we
as
could all
a
come.
group.
That would
I
be
need
it.
more coffee.
How many thousands of people would that be?
Well, you see, we come back to subscribers because,
Yes.
as everybody knows from last week's video, I am looking to try and get up to 2,000 subscribers by Christmas because we're going to be doing a huge,
Giveaway.
you heard it from the man himself, Black Country Radio's premier DJ, Matt Dudley, is going to help me,
Yeah.
probably, with this giveaway.
Steal something to give away. So,
You've got a couple of pins or something.
oh, a pen. I can give you a pen.
You can't beat a pen from the radio station, can
Oh,
you?
you want a radio station pen?
Yeah.
I've just got a pen. I was just
No,
going to
no,
give you
I
a
want
pen.
a radio station.
Oh, okay. I'll get you a mug.
And how can we tune into Black Country Radio, Mr. Dudley?
I like the fact we've literally got no structure to this conversation
I
whatsoever.
love it, but we're going to come back to this
We'll
picture
come back
in
to
a
this in a
second. But you are now currently working at Black Country Radio.
Yeah, so I do the drive time show.
I love
And I've been there now 11 years. And
What?
I know, man and boy. And I started. I've been doing drive now for the best part of that. I think I'm going to go with 9 years.
I
Something
bet you
like
get. I bet there's some real regular listeners though that tune in and will.
They do.
Do you
and
have people WhatsApp message you and things like that as the program's going
They
on?
do, and there are other usual listeners, and they do contact us throughout. But then you get other people saying first-time listener, or I've just found you by accident, or those are the kind of nice. I like those, and we get some really good guests on. A couple of weeks ago, we had Denise Pearson, who's ex-lead singer of Five Star, back in the
God, I
day.
used to love 5 Star.
I've got Roachford on this coming week.
Ooh, brilliant.
And I've got Alfie Bow coming up again. He's been on before. Look, we get them all, and what's lovely about it is that unlike the big stations, we get to showcase a celeb, whoever they might be, and they're talking to a very local audience. So Black Country Radio covers obviously the Black Country area, which is Dudley, Wolverhampton, Walsall, Sandwell boroughs. We also do Birmingham on DAB and on FM, but you can get us online anywhere. Yeah. And we do have people listening anywhere. And we know that people tune in from other countries because they like the local presenters, they like the accent. Yeah. And the local news, the local sport, and it helps them keep in touch with home. Yes. And I like that. I like the fact that we are providing that kind of service.
And radio has been ever present for you, really, hasn't it? Right from back from when I first met you.
So my radio days go way back.
Way back.
I was about 14, 15.
You were destined to be a radio DJ.
Do you know what it is? I think because radio, you can just turn, if you really wanted to, and I don't want to, but if you did, you could turn up in your pajamas. Because it doesn't matter, it's about what you say and what you do. Yeah. I'm acutely aware of my responsibilities to make sure that anything, we have news, we have discussion, we have guests, we have good music. I'm acutely aware of my responsibility for getting that right, pitching that right for that audience, 3 till 6. It's got to be light-hearted, it's got to be relevant. Yeah. And it's just, when we both did things like Stanmore Hospital Radio, that's even more bespoke, isn't it? Because you've literally got people dying to listen to you, and literally. And so that your responsibilities are different again. I don't know if you remember, but we used to go around the wards.
Yeah, you used to go around with the clipboard.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in those days.
And there was a list of songs you couldn't play.
There was a definite list of songs you couldn't play that generally were about death.
They were. So My Way you couldn't do.
No.
There was, and this is absolutely true. This list of songs is true. So there was My Way, and I'm laughing already, but Living in a Box. This is true. There was a list of songs. Going Underground was another one. Look, the idea being is that I would like to have thought that anyone listening who was in the final stages of their amazing life
Could have found it very funny.
would have found that hilarious. If they'd gone out laughing, I love the fact that that would have been a wonderful way to go. But obviously we had to be sensitive.
Of course.
But the problem was, when you went around with your clipboard, people would ask for these songs.
And they'd stop, we'd stop and talk to them.
Yeah.
And they'd want to talk to you for ages, for hours.
Yeah.
Because they might have only had you as their one bedside visitor all day.
Yeah.
All week, or whatever, however long they're in for. And I remember various people stopping and really wanting to chat, and it was because I've got to be on air in an hour. I've got to move on here.
And I've got to get the actual records or CDs or whatever it was.
Downloading or uploading or whatever it is.
Well, it's wonderful because I've kind of seen the evolution of radio from those days.
Of course, from a technical point of view.
I mean, everything was made of wood. You had physical carts, by which, I mean, it was like, the only thing I can liken it to was like, I mean, we're too young, but 8-track cassettes you put in a car.
I'm not too young for 8-track.
You are too young. And
I was a pop star in those days, don't forget. We went from 4-track to 8-track to 24, 16-track, 24-track.
And the rest is history. But you used to put these carts in, and it would play a jingle, or it would play an advert, or whatever it was. A jingle. I
used to do jingles for Radio WM.
Well, I think I do remember that. I don't remember the jingle. I remember you telling me, maybe.
Well, I used to work at WM.
I know you do. I remember that.
For Ed Doolan. Rusty Lee. I was the runner for Rusty Lee.
Oh, of course, yeah. Alison's friend.
Alison's friend, yeah, she is.
She is, yeah.
And who else did I work for? Carl Chin.
Carl Chin. Professor Carl Chin.
Professor Carl Chin.
But you see, now that the carts have continued, so now you've got obviously virtual carts on the computer, and all your music's on the computer. Everything's automated to an inch of its life, and but it's such a wonderful thing to do, and it's become. I've done it now longer than I've had my younger child, longer than I've owned, run a business for, longer than I care to remember, really. And it used to be, and it still is to an extent, the buffer to my working week, and it's nice to retreat to, because I get to meet the most interesting people and experience the most interesting things. A few years ago, went to Poland, to Auschwitz, with a group of students. It was a Dudley Council, Black Country Radio. Can't remember the name of the college. It might have been Hauser or something like that. Bringing some young people to Auschwitz to experience that. I'd never seen that before, and I had to broadcast from there, and that was the most surreal and profound experience ever.
I bet.
To be there, to see that, because I've only ever seen Schindler's List, and as horrific as that is, nothing prepares you for what you see. No. So to go with a bunch of young people and for them to witness it and to see how 14, 15, 16-year-olds saw something that was a million miles away in terms of years, I don't think they really grasped what it's about. So that was purely because of my radio, and I wouldn't have, we could all go to Auschwitz, but that connection meant I could broadcast that back, and I had a mouthpiece. I could say what I was thinking at the time. So it does open doors, definitely.
Absolutely. Talking about Auschwitz,
we still haven't shown this wonderful photo yet,
which I'm coming on to right now. It's linked very nicely.
Talking about Auschwitz, here's a terrible looking photo.
But no, it actually says, and I'm sure it says at the start of this yearbook, because as I said, with this college no longer exists. In fact, I think it was pulled down. It's a
long time ago now. Yeah, by oratory.
At the start of this yearbook, I haven't got my reading glasses on, but I'll try to read.
How old are you again?
Haven't
got your readers?
No, my readers are in my handbag, and the handbag's upstairs.
Well, I'll back you up. You try. Thanks. Come on.
Most of you probably know that St Philip's used to be a grammar school for boys.
Oh.
Did you know that?
Most of us clearly didn't know, because I didn't know that.
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
St Phil's had a far more friendly atmosphere in those days, though. As you can probably see from these pictures, it is comparable to Auschwitz or a coal mining village. That is how the college was described to us at the start of the yearbook.
Wow.
And also bear in mind that the temporary huts,
yes,
that were these.
They were still there, weren't they, when we were there?
The temporary huts were still there. In fact, stayed there until the whole thing was pulled down.
See, now you've read it out loud, I'm not sure that phrase is...
I don't think that's appropriate.
That's a very unfortunate phrase.
It's a very unfortunate phrase, and actually I don't think anybody would put that in something now.
I'd like to think they wouldn't have done it then.
But they did.
They did. Also liken Auschwitz to a coal mining village, which I've been to some.
And obviously, this has all come back round for me this year because
Yeah.
I am now back with Paul, aka the Invisible Chef, who was my
We've never
boyfriend
seen
at
him.
college.
We've never seen him.
You might know. Have you? I don't know whether you have seen
He's,
him.
he's invisible.
The Invisible
Is my
Chef.
point. Yeah. Keep up.
Sorry. But of course, we were boyfriend and girlfriend at college, and this year have reacquainted, as you know. So this is all real.
It's a lovely story, actually.
Really?
You know, I don't think
But
anyone.
how did he fancy that?
No,
30 years
more
ago?
importantly, why didn't you fancy that? Because
Well,
I mean,
let's show everybody,
so first of all, I'm going to have to get close up so you can see this. So that there is your elusive host, Polly, with amazing shades on inside.
I totally forgot those.
More than likely. And then that very attractive man there, I'm going to have to go down there. Well, that's a younger version of me.
Would you like to read the caption?
I don't
Have
really
you not
want-
got your reading glasses?
I don't need glasses. So, presenting, in inverted commas, this the thing is, it's white on white, which doesn't help.
Oh, you need your reading glasses.
Presenting this year's Mr. Universe, or is that Puniverse? Now, that's rude.
Isn't it? You wouldn't get away with that these days.
You wouldn't at all, but I just love the fact that
Brilliant picture.
very much thinner, with curtains as hair.
Well, 1993 curtains.
I mean,
But what's going on with my curtains?
you almost don't look like you,
Thank God for
to be
that.
honest. But you know what? I think, and it's wonderful to have the yearbooks like this. I don't know if schools or colleges still do them,
I
but
wouldn't know.
they're a lovely
I don't think
window
they do.
back into your past, really.
Isn't it?
And the fact that there's people like us sitting somewhere, maybe not doing a vlog, maybe just
Probably
sitting, probably not, looking at these photos as well, and probably
If
vomiting.
any of you
each
did
other
go
as
to
well.
St Philip's College
You
in
know.
1992 through to 1994, do get in touch because it's
That
us.
would be amazing.
And we'd love to see you.
Well, here's a little known thing, which I'll throw in. I am the admin for the St Philip's group on Facebook.
Are you? I didn't know there was a St Philip's group on
There
Facebook,
is.
and why did I not know about
I
it?
don't know, you do now, and in fact, not only am I admin, I started it, and I couldn't tell you how many people are on there. People I don't know, because
Wow.
yeah, so there's a thing, and it's like any group for schools. If you go in there and put in the year, or you type in "I was there in 1990,"
He might not be with us. Oh, yes, our
Dave.
music teacher was lovely.
Dave
He passed away
Surtees.
very young.
I think it was a heart attack, wasn't he? He
He
was
had a
our
heart
music teacher.
condition, didn't he?
So he was our music teacher. I was in A-level music, and I don't know what you were doing.
Same. I
Yeah.
love music. Yeah.
And he wrote the anthem for the Queen's opening of the ICC in the Symphony Hall in Birmingham. So
Amazing.
he was a very well-known kind of composer. Sadly died far too young. We all went to his funeral as well,
Yeah.
which students should never have to do that, but we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a lovely guy.
He
Really
was
lovely
such
guy.
a nice man.
Really nice
such
guy.
a nice man. But in fact, he could not literally could not be replaced in the college, and we didn't actually finish
That
our
course.
A-level
No.
music course because he'd gone.
Who knew?
Nobody could
Imagine what we could have
replace
been
him.
doing now.
Could you imagine where that might have taken
We could have
us?
been at the proms. No,
We could have,
I went cleaning the chairs
my
after.
opera days might have taken off as opposed to my pop star days.
You could have had a number 101 in the opera charts.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
I mean but it's it's an amazing look back at one's life. And I forgot until we started talking. I had forgot a lot of the things, and then as soon as you start talking, I go, oh yeah, it triggers another memory.
When I wasn't doing college, I was then in my band.
Mm.
So rather than going out clubbing or being in a pub myself, I was the one on stage doing the entertaining.
Yeah.
So I didn't drink. I did smoke a little bit for a while.
You see, no one
But
offered me a
I
fag
didn't-
either.
Did I not offer you a?
I think so. Well,
You certainly don't see it as much now, really, do you?
no, you don't. And I think back then, obviously, smoking was it was an acceptable thing anyway. Not for kids, but
Well, Paul and I were trying to work out. We can obviously remember being together at college. We can remember being boyfriend and girlfriend at college and going to the pub at lunchtime and going wherever we went, and we saw each other out of college as well. But neither of us can actually remember how we started talking in the first place at college, because we weren't in the same subjects at all. And Paul's theory is we met in the smoking hut.
I mean, did you smoke in the smoking hut?
A little bit,
Yeah.
but not very much.
No.
I never smoked very
Well, there was
much.
a common room there as well at the front, wasn't there?
There was.
At the front, but
Yes.
I don't remember my first day there. I don't remember going in and saying, "Hi, I'm Matt." I don't remember that. I just remember. I remember doing.
Did you do media studies?
No. I was very much, so I was doing performing arts and concentrating on that and music. I did theology.
Yeah.
But I remember doing some jazz dancing. No, it was jazz dancing, I think, but we had to do Vogue.
That's in here.
Is that in there?
The Vogue picture. I've got to try and find the Vogue picture.
So there was Vogue, and I remember doing that and also I know that Alison and I had to wear black leotards and do some jazz dancing.
Yeah, I've still got the Vogue performance on VHS.
Shut up.
I have. I need to get them all converted because I've got all the performances recorded.
Am I in that video? That is you. Am I in that video?
Yeah. I
don't think anyone wants to see that.
I choreographed the Vogue whole thing.
Yeah. I vividly remember that, but mainly because I was so out of my depth.
Because we rehearsed at your house. We did
We did.
the dance
We
rehearsals at your
did.
house. And then there was that choreographer that came in as well.
Wow, I had totally forgot all about that.
We did. We rehearsed at your house. I think it was your house. I remember
It was
moving
because
all the furniture out
yeah,
the
because
lounge.
my parents are still in the same house. And I got
they?
it's such a huge house, so it was always. I think it was bigger than the performing arts studio that we had at college. So it was why we had that there. But
I will find this. Keep talking.
yeah, so I remember because doing any kind of dance like that, which at the time was very in vogue.
What you did there.
Thank you very much. I'm here all week. So that I remember not feeling very comfortable with doing that because that wasn't what I wouldn't have classed myself as a dancer.
No.
And also that particular dance was for, at the time, for particular kind of people.
Yes.
And I didn't feel comfortable with that at the time. But because I probably look stupid doing that.
I remember you needed quite a lot of
alcohol.
choreography.
Oh right. Yeah.
I do remember.
I've never classed myself as being a dancer, darling. Although I have done lots of dancing. I've done in Acorn Antics that I alluded to.
That's the thing with.
Didn't we audition for something at the Crescent together?
Yes, we did.
I can't remember that,
I can't remember what it was.
It was something. But
Performing Arts, page 60.
the anticipation's killing me, Polly.
Bear with everybody.
Yeah, it's because this isn't live, isn't it? Everyone would have switched off by now.
Edited
Yeah,
as well. I know it's in here. I haven't ripped it out and thrown it away. I've definitely.
Which is a shame because you definitely should have done that.
It's definitely.
But I remember, I don't remember everything about performing arts. I remember the room which was above the oratory.
Yes.
That was where we rehearsed. Maria was the musical.
Do you remember the production I did of? I wrote it myself, called Alias Marilyn Monroe.
No.
Where I was Marilyn Monroe.
No.
And did you remember my play called Sauna Secrets? And we had to get all the smoke machine going to make it look like it was in a sauna.
I don't remember that at all. That's terrible, isn't it?
It is.
I don't even remember if I did the production there.
Of course you did.
Well, you tell me what it was.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
It's
you
definitely
can't find
in
it.
here.
Is this the Mandela effect? It never actually happened.
There is a picture of us voguing in here. And
when you say us...
I'm sure you're in it. But
I thought I'd blocked that memory out a long time ago.
You just got to try and search for it. It's one of these.
You see there
it is. Oh, you're not in it.
No. Wow, I'm definitely not in it. And
shall we show everybody?
Yeah, go on. Sorry, it's a bit rude of us not showing you
this
guys.
This is us performing our version of Madonna's Vogue. There's yours truly.
See, if you've asked me which one were you, I wouldn't have said that was you.
Dark hair though, then you say.
Short, dark hair?
No, it's just tied back.
Oh, is it tied back?
Simply short.
I mean, look, you know, these were days when we were finding our
I thought you were about to say these were dark days.
Well, I mean, you're right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're friends with people at college and school, and then it's not very often they transfer into your adult life, and that
true.
might be for a very good reason, you know. But I mean, obviously, you and Alison have remained there from college. Clearly, there was a true friendship there, whereas others may have been good at the time. And I'm sure if we met up with them, and of the time, back in the 90s, early 90s, with my floppy hair, and I think those days were right slap bang in the middle of our teenage years when we're learning to find our feet. Only some relationships were ever going to make the cut, And we look at people like Alison, and I revel in what she does. She's the luckiest woman in the world. She has a great job and does it so well.
She's done very well. And I think she got another book out now.
She's got a children's book. She had another one about Black history as well.
She's Alison Hammond, if you haven't already seen it. This is a couple of years old now, isn't it? But we do get a little mention.
We do,
on
bless
the
her.
back page. No, it's a little bit further in from the back page. No, we do get a little.
Do you know what's lovely about that? Is that
it's lovely.
we went to her birthday party a couple of years ago, didn't we?
We
And
did.
a book had just come out, and
You took it with you.
I took it with me to sign.
party.
Well, I wanted to sign it because it was important. It was important that she signed my copy, and I jokingly said to her, "So, a bit rude. We're not in it." And she went, "Hang on," and she got the book out and she went right to the back. And honestly, I'm very, very not very often lost for words. I think if
I didn't expect it.
If I had a video of me watching that happen,
Yeah.
I'd have gone, oh, there's that moment when my brain went, oh, I don't know what to do now. She put you right, and wow, what a thing to do.
Yeah.
The fact that we got to mention it as like a thank you.
It is lovely.
It's an amazing thing. She didn't have to do that.
No, she
so
absolutely didn't
humbling.
have to do it.
So
and
humbling.
it's just, a part of her character again, and remembering her roots, where she came from. It'd be interesting to note in time as well, as this little video will become a little time capsule. That,
that's a nice idea.
This whole channel is a memory box for me, because my mum's in it, and it's all about memories and being able to look back on stuff and growing and all those kind of things. But if someone or one of our kids or one of our grandkids watches this back in 30 years' time, to be in the situation
we'll be in
that
our
you and I are
50s.
now, we'll be in our 50s.
I can't imagine for a second being in my 80s with possibly great grandchildren. My mum and dad are 77 with great grandchildren. So I guess it's a natural order of things. But and then whether we could do this, in fact, we could do this in 30s. It'll all be, it'll be so virtual. It'll probably be like. We'll be able to transmit to people's brains instantly.
We might be able to do it from the grave at that point, if we're there.
Oh, well, I'm immortal, so...
Of course you are.
But it's a weird thing, isn't it, to think that you could do this and reflect on, do you remember when we did a video?
Should we pencil it in though?
In 30 years. I'll have a look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Let's
do this
I'll
again
double
in
check
30
I'm not
years.
busy.
And we'll have to re-watch this to remind
Yes.
ourselves what we talked, because we won't have any recollection. We might not even remember each other.
No. Well, we may not both be here.
Oh, God.
We'll say things like, oh, do you remember the internet? Do you remember? Before you could implant it into your brain directly. Do you remember that?
Remember those days?
Do
you remember flat screen tellies?
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Do you remember laptops? iPads,
What?
iPhones, what were they all about?
Phones. So I think that would be a nice idea if you can pencil it in for 30 years.
I will, indeed.
We're both probably doing exactly the same as we're doing now.
Yeah, well, I hope so, and I hope not. Do you know what I mean? Does that make
I
any
think
sense?
so. I'd like to think I'd still be doing, because there are
80-year-old DJs.
Yeah, and they are still at the same station. They've been, if you think about people like, Paul Gambaccini and all these people that.
I could see a silver-haired Fox DJ.
Yeah.
Thing going on.
Could do that, couldn't we? I mean, you've got some famous connections. David Tennant. Maybe we could. Me and Dave could be doing a reflection on, or you and Dave reflecting on his time in Doctor Who, which is coming out now in December.
Although I haven't spoken to Dave.
No.
My mate Dave.
Dave-o.
I haven't spoken to Dave-o.
Yeah.
For, when did we do that ball? Oh, it was 12, well, I was with...
far too long ago.
2010.
With Mark Lester.
I don't think that's another story again. Please don't go down that road.
No, the only thing I'm going to say is I danced with Mark Lester. For those who don't know, Mark Lester played Oliver in the original 1971 film, by the way. And he's a chiropractor, I think, or something like that.
He's a chiropractor.
Yeah, that's why I said that word.
Last time I knew.
Yeah, well, I think he still is. But I found him a very charming man, actually. And I don't know how I ended up dancing with him, but it was at a ball you organised for charity.
I did organise a ball for charity, mate.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, the point
we don't
being,
want to go on about that.
No, we don't. My point was that David Tennant, who you had a connection with,
yes, very kindly
he's about to be
donated.
Doctor Who again.
He is.
So I'd like to, in 30 years' time, I'd like to watch a video of you talking to him about his life 30 years previous of Doctor Who.
Wow, could you imagine? David Tennant, if you are watching, you may not even remember 2010 because you were very busy being Doctor Who. But we had a connection, and you very kindly helped me with the prizes, for want of a better word, that I did at a charity ball. We raised lots of money for a charity called Little Hearts Matter that ran out of Birmingham Children's Hospital. I don't even know if they're still there, they're still running. I know nothing about this charity anymore. I need to look into that.
You need to look into that.
I need to research that. And if Little Hearts Matter do still exist, hello, and I will link a description in the description box down below for you. But I did this charity ball, and Alison officially opened it together with Mark Lester, who was Oliver in the original Oliver film, and David Tennant donated loads of signed stuff, of which I've still got a couple of bits upstairs because I actually won them on the auction. Not a fix. I actually won them on the auction, and Adam is a huge Doctor Who fan. So
I remember not winning anything because I didn't bid for anything.
How rude.
I know. I think it was. I didn't.
You were just interested in dancing with Mark Lester.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. I think it was a great night.
It was a good night. It took a lot of organising, but it was a good night.
It was a good night. Yeah. I enjoyed that. I don't know how we got onto that, other than to say in 30 years' time, it'd be nice to reflect back on this time and.
Please God,
yeah, I think that'll be. Yeah. We should do this every 30 years.
Definitely.
This is the first one.
I mean, fortunately, we see each other more often than once every 30 years. Unlike me and Paul, aka the Invisible Chef, we've had a 30-year gap.
Because he's invisible.
He is real. Honestly, he is real.
No, he's invisible.
He's the Invisible Chef to my lovely viewers because he doesn't like to show his face.
Maybe I should be one of your lovely viewers then. That probably.
Have you not subscribed to the channel?
Yes.
You watch every week.
Every week.
Every Sunday at
4 o'clock.
7 a.m.
That's right. 7 a.m. But it's no different to you stop listening to my radio show.
I haven't stopped listening to your radio show. It's just that you change. You swap what days you're working.
It's my fault.
And what times your show is on.
Yeah,
and I got very confused as to when you're live and not. And then I'm at work.
Always live.
Or, I would like to hear you in the car.
Literally all I'm hearing is excuses and not solutions.
Yeah, well, it works both ways.
All right, I will tune into your radio
station. If you tune into mine.
Yes. But no, that's... Look, I value when you listen because you tell me you're listening and it's nice. But knowing that someone you know is listening, there's kind of an expectation to live up to a certain standard.
Right.
That if you don't... So I have to make sure I sound... Because knowing you've done radio and knowing you've done performing arts and knowing you've had a number 101 hit in the charts, I've got to make sure that I up my game a little bit. It's the same with anyone else who's listening. I want to do my best for them. I find myself doing that a little bit more. Yeah. But it's...
Well, I'll tune in a little bit more. I will tune in a little bit more. But
it's fine.
I think we'll end it there, shall we? But thank you so much for being on the All Things Good channel this week.
No, I've enjoyed it.
Everyone's going to love it. And they can tune into you on a Wednesday and a Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday, 3 till 6. Now, I know that sounds like I'm not on a lot. And you'd be right. Wonderful. Yes. It's only because sort of life gets in the way. I have to say, they would love me to be on Monday to Friday.
They would, I know they would.
They would love me to because but unfortunately it's just not possible at the moment with work commitments and so on.
But I'll link the channel I shall link the radio station's channel down below in the description box. So
what I will tell you is next week,
yeah.
So not this week, next week, the week where the 20th is the Friday.
Okay.
I'm doing an extra show on the Friday, so I'll be doing Drive Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Wow, we get extra, Matt Dudley.
An extra, no one's asked for it, but I'm doing it anyway. Because that's what happens. So, and I love doing it. I think it's a labour of love. We get some great guests on. I get to play, I kind of get to play my music.
Great.
But I am head of music for the station, so that gives me
helps.
some kind of
That's got to help.
It does help, but all the music we play is superb.
It is every time I do tune in, which is not being.
No, you're busy.
Every time, but I will make a point of doing so now. I always, as soon as I switch on, it's like, I love this one, know this.
The kind of remit we've got is that we only play the greatest hits. Nothing else matters. So the new stuff that comes in is great, and we'll try it out and whatever. Sometimes they go by the wayside, other times they get put into the greatest hits
But
category.
it's generally quite upbeat, isn't it?
Oh, it's all,
upbeat.
during the day, we don't have slow songs during the day. It's always upbeat, you know, really good, happy, feel-good tunes.
I like that.
I play probably an unhealthy amount of Kylie.
Loving Kylie's new album.
I just love Kylie.
Kylie, we love your album intentions.
So can I just say, if you are listening,
of course she's listening.
I'm not quite stalker level.
Good.
Not yet, but I give her half a chance. I think she's amazing. She's superb. She's wonderful, and
isn't she? We all love Kylie. How can you not love Kylie?
I mean, album intention is incredible,
It is incredible. It's fab.
And so I do play probably a lot of Kylie, but I love songs that make me feel good. So if it makes me feel good, it's going to be on the show.
Fantastic. So this week, will you play some Kylie for me?
I'll play some Kylie just for you. We've got Roachford, cuddly toy. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, he's on Wednesday, and then be nice to have people listening. That'd be very nice. Thank you.
It's brilliant. Oh, thank you for this coffee and chat. Have you got any coffee? I've got a little.
I think mine's definitely cold, so that's not happening. Thank you for the memories as well. Thank you for bringing all these books.
Thank you for
showing the photos.
Would you like to keep one of them?
I've got to say that this one from '92. I have this one. I don't know if I've got that one.
They're not in publication anymore.
No, you can't download it.
You can't download it.
You can't download it.
No. And they're
But no,
never of
thank
the
you very
best
much.
quality in the world in the first place.
What I love about this as
black
well,
and white as
and I
well.
know you're about to finish.
I mean, I know we're old, but it's all in black and
It's all
white.
black and white.
It was not black and white in those days.
But
was
just
it?
if you look at 021.
021.
021.
Before the one.
There's no email. There's no website address.
We are so old.
Speak for yourself. But we are proper old.
Actually.
Are you? Really?
Yeah,
How
it's
old
my
are you?
birthday in January. I will be 49 in January. And you're already
There was always something
49.
about you we didn't like. I don't think we should show that photo, should we?
Yes!
Do you think we should?
Yes.
Okay.
This is our friend, mutual friend,
our wonderful friend,
Ms.
Alison Hammond,
Hammond.
back in 1992.
She's going to hate us.
Before she was incredibly brilliant and famous.
She was still brilliant.
No, she was brilliant. But she was brilliant. I just loved her infectious laugh even back then.
I know. And she always used to wear dungarees.
She looks like that now. She's the next. She did wear dungarees.
Blue dungarees with one strap always open and one closed. And then she'd cartwheel into performing arts.
Honestly, I had the best time at college.
Me too.
Good friends that obviously we're going to be kept for the rest of our lives.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you for sharing your memories as well, because I've quite enjoyed that.
Thank you for going down memory lane with me. It's been, it's been...
memorable.
Yes!
Yeah, anyway, thank you very much. We digress. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Dudley, for joining us from Black Country Radio.
You're very welcome.
And this is this week's video. I hope you've really, really enjoyed our little coffee and chat and a bit of our history, what we get up to, and it's just so nice that you're here. It's lovely to
Oh,
see
no,
you.
it's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thanks for paying me. Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome anytime. So, hope you've enjoyed this week's video. Until next week, stay safe, stay in the boat, and keep doing all things good. And I'll see you next Sunday. Take care. Bye.
Bye.